Can you imagine your boss asking you for a 10-minute kiss to save her company? Sounds crazy, right? Well, wait until you hear this real story that has more twists than a soap opera. A multimillionaire on the brink of bankruptcy, a humble worker with a secret past, and a desperate moment that united them forever. It was Thursday morning when Elena's empire came crashing down. 40% losses in the stock market. 3 days of total panic. All because of a broken engagement that the media kept chewing like old gum. Elena had built her empire from scratch. From a nameless programmer to the most powerful CEO in the country in less than a decade. But there she was, standing before a pack of bloodthirsty reporters, feeling everything crumble beneath her feet. Flashes exploded like fireworks. Questions flew like poison daggers. Her ex-fiancé, that guy Marcus, had turned their breakup into a weapon to destroy her. What started as a business alliance disguised as love had now become her downfall. But in the midst of all that chaos, her eyes fixed on him. James, the maintenance man who was always around fixing things without anyone noticing. He'd spent years being invisible, working nights to care for his little daughter during the day. Just another ghost in the corporate building. Elena didn't think twice. She crossed that room full of sharks, took his hand and whispered in his ear, "Do me the craziest favor of your life. Kiss me like we've been dating for years." And that's where everything got interesting. James wasn't just any maintenance worker. This man had a story that broke hearts. Years ago he'd been a medical engineering genius, creating devices that literally saved lives. But a giant corporation stole everything from him. His designs, his future, his dignity. His wife Jennifer fought by his side until the end, but the stress of the legal battle killed her. Not the illness she had, but the bitterness of watching the powerful crush the good. Before dying, she made him promise something that would change everything. "Stay kind, my love, even when the world is cruel to you." That's why James ended up cleaning offices. That's why he worked nights while his little girl slept. That's why nobody knew that the man mopping floors had invented technology that saved thousands of lives. It was his secret, his pain, his silent sacrifice. Sophie, his 8-year-old daughter, was his reason for existing. Those curious little eyes like her mother's, that smile that illuminated even the grayest days. James never missed her school plays, always put love notes in her lunchbox, taught her chess on a scratched-up board he'd bought at a flea market. To Sophie, her dad was a superhero. She didn't need to know anything else. Elena lived at the opposite extreme. Her penthouse on the city's highest floor was a gilded cage. Beautiful, cold, empty. She stayed working until dawn not because she had to, but because coming home depressed her. The silence of those walls drove her crazy. Her engagement to Marcus had been perfect on paper. 2 empires joining, multiplied power, the golden couple of business. But when she found him with another woman, she felt more relief than pain. The problem was that Marcus knew all her business secrets and was now using them to sink her. She needed a miracle. Something that would completely change the media narrative. And then she saw James that morning, adjusting the sound equipment with expert hands. The way he touched technology wasn't casual. There was something different about him, something she filed away in her mind without knowing she'd soon need it. When their worlds collided in that desperate kiss, Elena expected resistance. Any normal person would have run away. Instead, James embraced her with a tenderness that disarmed her. He held her like she was something precious, not an object of convenience. He kissed her like they'd been doing it for years, like he perfectly understood the game. But 3 minutes into standing there with cameras recording and hearts beating like crazy, Elena realized something that scared her. She was no longer acting. That kiss lasted exactly 10 minutes and 37 seconds. When they finally separated, with makeup smudged and hair destroyed, the entire world had changed. Marcus and his gossip were forgotten. Now everyone wanted to know the same thing. Who was this mysterious man who had conquered the Ice Queen? James tried to slip away as always, returned to his invisible world. But Elena's assistant intercepted him in the elevator, showing him on her tablet how social media was exploding. "My boss needs to talk to you," she said in that voice that doesn't accept no for an answer. James thought about Sophie, about his quiet life, about all the problems this could bring. But he also thought about the desperation he'd seen in Elena's eyes, the way she trembled despite her steel facade. Against all common sense he decided to go up. Elena's office was exactly what he expected. Glass, steel, postcard views. But it was also the saddest thing he'd seen. Without a single personal photo, without life, without soul. A museum dedicated to empty success. "I'll be direct with you," Elena said without turning to look at him. "What happened downstairs was pure strategy. Our shares already rose 7%. By market close we'll have recovered everything lost. When she finally faced him, James saw the truth that cameras never captured. The exhaustion no makeup could hide. The fragility of someone about to break. Marcus is trying to take everything from me, she continued. He's been planning this for months, maybe since before our engagement. I need something dramatic to beat him at his own game. James knew that feeling. He knew what it was like to watch someone destroy everything you love while smiling like it's a game. Why me? He asked bluntly. Elena almost smiled. Because you don't exist online. No social media, no dangerous connections. You're perfect precisely because you're invisible to my world. She pulled out a thick document from her desk. I need you for 2 more weeks. Some public appearances, nothing too complicated. I'll give you clothes, a believable story, whatever it takes. In return, I'll secure your daughter's complete college education. The best schools, everything paid. James felt a knot in his throat. She'd investigated him, found his most vulnerable point. But when he really looked at her, he didn't see a manipulator. He saw someone drowning who had grabbed the first life preserver within reach. You already know about Sophie. I know you're a single father. I know you work nights to be with her during the day. I know you do everything alone. Her voice softened a bit. I admire that. I'm not manipulating you. I'm offering you a deal that benefits us both. James thought about Sophie's school, where there were no longer art classes due to budget cuts. He thought about the future he could never give her on his current salary. He thought about Jennifer asking him to keep being good to the world. Sometimes being good means helping someone, even when they only see you as a convenient tool. Okay, he said finally. But with conditions. I don't quit my job. I don't miss anything important for Sophie. And she doesn't find out about this. Elena nodded so quickly she seemed relieved. Of course. Tomorrow there's a charity gala. If we appear together there, the story becomes believable. Leaving that office, James wondered what mess he'd gotten himself into. 3 years being invisible and now he was going to be in the spotlight. But something in Elena's hidden vulnerability reminded him that everyone carries invisible battles. Even ice queens have hearts. Turning a janitor into a CEO's boyfriend required more than expensive clothes, though the clothes helped a lot. The next day an army of stylists arrived at his small apartment with enough suits to dress half the city's elite. Sophie watched from the couch, eating cereal and watching cartoons, fascinated by the parade of strangers transforming their living room. Are you going to a wedding, Daddy? She asked, laughing when she saw him come out in a suit that made him look like the professional he'd been before. It's something like that, Princess, he said, crouching to her level. I'm going to help a lady with a very big problem. I might have to go out more often these 2 weeks. Is it okay if the neighbor watches you some afternoons? Sophie studied him with eyes too wise for her age. Is the lady a good person? James remembered Elena's trembling hand, her fear disguised as control. She's learning to be. The charity gala was at the city's most elegant museum. An event where a glass of champagne cost more than what James spent on food per week. Elena waited for him at the entrance, spectacular in a dress that seemed made of liquid stars, but with a hand that wouldn't stop shaking when she took his arm. Remember the story, she whispered. We've been dating secretly for 3 months. You're a medical technology consultant, you're from Portland. Keep everything vague. The most impressive thing about that night wasn't the shameless luxury or the curious looks following them everywhere. It was how natural everything felt between them. Elena laughed at his sarcastic comments about the pretentious artwork. He held her when her heel got stuck in the marble floor. When Marcus appeared with his shark smile and calculating eyes, James automatically pulled Elena closer, protective. So you're the famous mystery man, Marcus said in a tone that screamed he didn't believe anything. How strange that Elena never mentioned you. It's also strange that she never mentioned several things about you, James responded, calm as a lake. Though I'm starting to understand why. The fury that flashed in Marcus's eyes was worth any future trouble. Elena's genuine laughter, without filters or calculations, was worth even more. Later, while they were dancing, she whispered to him, I didn't expect that. Consultants from Portland don't usually have fangs. Even the calmest have limits, James said, gently spinning her. Besides, it looked like he deserved it. For a second, Elena's mask fell completely. He destroyed everything he touched and made it look like love. I thought all relationships were like that. She realized what she'd said and tensed. Sorry, I shouldn't have. But James only held her tighter. My wife used to say that true love makes you more yourself, not less. If someone erases you, that's not love. That's theft. Elena stared at him, something changing deeply in her expression. The rest of the night, her smiles were less calculated, her laughter more real. When photographers asked them to pose, she leaned on him as if that was her natural place. By the time they left, even James had forgotten this was pure theater. And so began the most honest lie of their lives. 2 weeks that would change everything, a fake kiss that became the realest love they'd ever known, and an 8-year-old girl who unknowingly would create the most beautiful miracle in the world. Because sometimes the best love stories are born from the purest desperation. And sometimes, pretending to be happy is the first step to discovering you deserve it. What do you think? Do you believe a moment of madness can change your entire life? Tell me in the comments what you would have done in James's place. Hit like if this story moved your heart like it did mine, and subscribe because we have more incredible stories that will keep you up at night. See you in the next video, and get ready because something even better is coming.